What's going on, everybody? It's Nick with Facemask Fantasy. With the NFL draft behind us, continuing to look at the landing spots for the rookies and how to approach them from a dynasty and redraft perspective. I only ask after listening that you consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Up today, wide receiver Roman Wilson. The third-round pick out of Michigan was the 14th receiver selected this year. He was speculated to have been drafted sooner in the pre-draft process, which perhaps would have happened had his numbers been a bit higher this past year. But we won't hold that against him given the nature of the Wolverines' 2023 season. They were ahead with a big lead so frequently that they hardly ever needed to throw the ball in the second half of games. Nevertheless, Wilson is a good athlete with great speed to help the Steelers' offense get vertical starting in 2024. First, a quick look at the college resume. Wilson spent most of his time at Michigan as a reserve. He started a handful of games in 2021 and 2022, catching just 25 passes in both of those seasons. But he made things happen with the ball in his hands, averaging almost 17 yards per catch in his second season and 15 yards per catch in his third season. He maintained his big play ability in 2023 with a larger workload, hauling in 48 catches for 789 yards and 12 touchdowns. Again, fair to argue the catches and yards would be even higher had Michigan needed to throw the ball more this past season. But he showed enough for Pittsburgh to make him a day 2 pick. Wilson joins a Steelers wide receiver core with little depth behind George Pickens. Gone is Deontay Johnson, who was traded to Carolina earlier this offseason. Johnson commanded 87 targets in 13 games last year and had over 140 targets in each year from 2020 to 2022. So there's a lot of work now available. Pittsburgh added depth options in free agency like Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, and Marquez Callaway. Maybe one or two of those guys start over Wilson at first, but Pittsburgh has an excellent track record of developing the receivers they draft, so that might not last for the entire 2024 season. To that point, Wilson has raw talent as a burner, but is expected to need time molding a more complete skill set. You probably couldn't ask for a better landing spot for that to happen, though, and the lack of proven talent ahead of Wilson on the depth chart gives him a chance to contribute right away. A potential drawback could be more than just a rookie getting NFL experience. It could come down to the team's options at quarterback. Between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, the Steelers' signal callers currently leave a lot to be desired. Russ had a great career in Seattle, but his play has fallen off in recent years, and his best days are probably behind him. As for Fields, if he gets an opportunity, he's got loads of talent, but was an inconsistent passer during his time in Chicago. The scheme, coaching, and lack of talent around him can certainly shoulder some of the blame for that, but he's still working behind an aging, declining quarterback all the same. All this to say, Wilson figures to be in the mix for opportunities very early, but there could be some inconsistent quarterback play that prevents him from fully breaking out his rookie year. For dynasty managers, Wilson likely settles in as a late second, early third-round pick in rookie drafts, depending on the format. He's not a day 1 starter for contending teams, but is on track to provide legitimate receiver depth with a chance for some boom-bust wide receiver 3 production as the season progresses. And he's a great stash and wait for rebuilding teams as he grows into a pro. For redraft folks, Wilson currently has a way too early ADP of about 155 on Underdog Fantasy. So 14th or 15th round draft pick. A pretty reasonable price for a wide receiver 5 or 6, especially for leagues that start 3 receivers, which is becoming more of the norm. If he starts right away, Wilson likely moves up a round or 2 as the season draws closer, but could be a cut candidate for hot waiver wire pickups if he doesn't produce early on. He's a really enticing option for those who play best ball, where you don't have to worry about predicting his boom weeks. And in that format, he only needs 2 or 3 strong games to provide a good return on investment. Given the landing spot, he should be able to make that happen. We'll, of course, continue to monitor Wilson's progress as we get into training camp and the preseason. Given the Steelers' track record with receivers, he's an early winner as far as where he ended up, and his speed makes him an enticing dart throw at the end of drafts. What do you guys think? Put any thoughts you have in the comment section below, and we can have a conversation about this. Till then, this is Nick with Facemask Fantasy. Thanks for listening.